Where's Victor? All right. Now, we are officially starting the Historic Commission of Lower Makefield Township meeting of October 8th, 2025. First meeting item. Oh, first thing is Jeff Bedzer will be acting for Tom tonight. So he is an official voting member for tonight. Second, review and approval of August 2025 meeting minutes. Does anybody have any changes or anything?
No.
Okay. I made one change, unfortunately, after I sent it to you. So it was Jeff wrote that the $5,000 grant was accepted and it was applied for. It hasn't been approved yet. So I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes with that one adjustment. You have to make the motion.
Second. Also, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
Jeff moves, Helen seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Perfect. Announcements. Victor is here. I'm not seeing him on the screen, but Victor is resigning. So I wanted us all to give a shout out to him and all the hard work that he has done for us. And he has promised to continue to assist on the ghost tour with the logistics. Oh, there he is. Continue to kind of support us in that work and other work. So we want to thank him for everything that he's done. And yeah. The second thing is Jeff is going to apply for Victor's position because now that we are aware of the whole alternate full member thing, Jeff has been the longest standing alternate, so he's going to apply. And we're still waiting on Dawn. So I actually don't anticipate anybody getting approved till January because the Board of Supervisors is refusing to do interviews. I will speak no further on that. That's okay. All right. So I wanted to we have a lot to talk about today, a lot of Slate Hill stuff, but before we do that, we need to talk about our goals of 2025. Those I did not pull up. And then set our goals and our work plan for 2026. Unfortunately, because we didn't have a meeting last month, I had to sort of develop a budget based on kind of projected what we've been doing and stuff, because we are in budget season. I don't know. Joe, can you easily pull up 2025's goals? When I got here early, I forgot to.
I have the, hold on. Yes, I can.
Can you just pull them up and kind of go through them so we could just check in on what we've done? Oops. Yep. Here we go.
Share.
Let me see if I can make mine little. Lovely. Thank you.
See this now?
Yes. So I just wanted to go through these real quickly as to what we did last year so we can think about what we want to be focusing on next year.
Mm-hmm.
The first category is advocating for preservation of township historic resources. So the building inventory, and that was successfully done. Jeff Marshall sent in a final report, and David Kratzner put it into a final report-like thing because the board actually also asked Jeff Marshall to add some recommendations.
Cathy, if I could, just that's so because it's important that we keep these two things straight. Jeff did the historic resources survey, so you'll see them down below under curate. That's one of the action items. This action item.
Oh, this was the inventory. I'm sorry,
this is the inventory that gets for the. So that's not complete because we don't have a demolition ordinance yet.
Correct. Thank you for fixing me on that. So we did do a building inventory, and given that the demolition ordinance has not passed, what we will do is in the new year, we will have to approve that again. Probably basically the same thing we did, but we're going to do that. So yes, thank you for clarifying that. I keep conflating the two. Implement a grave marker restoration of Slate Hill Cemetery. we're going to do a deeper dive into Slate Hill in a bit, but that has been successfully done. Yay, Monica. It looks beautiful over there. You got to speak the mic. Hold that for the next thing,
Oh,
'cause I'm speaking.
okay.
List Patterson Farm on National Register. Joe, what's the status of that? I know we're getting close.
Not done, still working on it. Helen and I had a conversation about how we dovetail her research with mine, so we're still plodding along.
Okay, so that will definitely be moved on to the 2026. I don't know that I put it on there because I had assumed it was going to be a complete, so we can add that to 2026 to finish that job. Support implementation of Patterson Farm Master Plan. I mean, I know you've been going to the meetings. I don't know if you want to speak on that further.
They've had about as much success moving forward as we've had moving our initiatives forward this year. So hopefully, we'll have better luck starting in January.
All on hold.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
All on hold,
pending
Board of Supervisors.
Board of Supervisors.
We're doing our job.
Yes, thank you.
You write that in there.
I'll put that in there.
Okay, Section 2, curate resources on township history. This is the Jeff Marshall piece, Helen. So update the resource survey, and store the information in PA Share. I don't know if it's in PA Share yet. It was sent. Jeff did a final report. I do need to send it to all of you, the thing that Kratzner kind of put together. That just sort of slipped my mind in everything. But we had a little bit of money left, and Jeff Marshall was able to do some additional research on all of our 2 properties. So we have quite a bit of information. And Joe, as an FYI, there's still like $300 left. So we have enough for him to do one more small project if we need it on that contract. So the work is officially done, but if we want him to research another project or something, because I'm going to suck every nickel out of that.
I would like him to do the Stillwell House.
The what house?
Stillwell House.
You got to give me like,
On,
I need an actual address.
yeah, I'm thinking,
And you can give that to me later. We can look at that and see if it's on our list. Stillwell House.
it is on the list. It's across, what happened is, I think Jeff missed it, because he did the Pickering House instead. And somehow the Stillwell House, he has assessed at a mid 19th century, and there's no way.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll fight him to the death on that one. So I would really like him to make an appointment with the owners and see if he can get in.
Okay. And then I don't know, we haven't heard anything on the grant yet, Joe, right?
No, I haven't heard from Megan regarding that.
Okay, so I mean, the plan is that we're going to work on that. That'll be moving into next year, and we already had agreements from Joe and Monica to write the grant, Jeff to do the RFP, and then I can work with Jeff Marshall to kind of do that. So that's the post 1891 houses. So we're going to have a deeper dive into that as far as strategically doing developments.
Yes.
But that'll be a discussion for another day.
Joe, do you know off the top of your head the timing of that? The
You know
grant?
what? I'm going to send Megan an email because officially she would notify Jim Majewski. So
I think it's February for the Keystone.
that's for Keystone. These are for the CLG grants.
Oh, okay.
Right. So I just wrote myself a note, Monica, to drop her a line and say, hey, Megan, what's the timing for the CLG grant?
Yeah, my thought was October is when they were going to issue it. So we are
Just
just
in
in
case
October,
it's-
but it'd be great if you followed up on that.
I will.
Okay. Cataloging township-owned materials. Yeah, that was Cathy and Mitch, but that's actually Dawn.
Yes.
She's progressing really well. We have a new young volunteer, Jack, who knows you, Victor. And he's been coming in 2 hours a week. Just started, and they're actually starting to do ascension numbers into past perfect. So they're making great progress. Yeah, it's amazing what she's done. And I thought she was going to be here tonight, but I know she had a DAR meeting first. So
What's her name?
I don't remember Jack's last name. I got to look it up.
Yeah.
But he told Dawn he knew you. What that exactly means. And he's a younger guy. All right. Collect and assess data on Slate Hill Cemetery using drones. We have that information. I'll report back on that. That is well, it's completed in this moment. We're going to continue to flesh that one out.
Mhm.
The ghost tour, that is happening, and we'll hit that under Slate Hill. I gave Tom, it wasn't quite 10 to 15, but he has some new QR codes that will go up hopefully next week, but definitely before the ghost tour. So that was accomplished. And then 250 is still moving along. And was there anything else on the next page, Joe?
I don't, let me see. Yeah,
Engagement of local schools. I know that Monica started that and they sort of did a,
There she is.
hey, it's sort of a wait and see, I think, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. And then the ceremony to bury the time capsule, that's something we can certainly, I don't know if I put that on 2026 or not, but certainly I know Joe would love to get that capsule out of his basement.
otherwise you guys can come back in 50 years and look for it there.
Yeah, right.
Hey, town's buried already.
All right.
Yeah,
So I
right.
would say overall, we've had a pretty successful year as far as meeting our goals for last year.
I agree.
And then let's transition into, I did a preliminary. I did email this all to you, but
Mhm.
so I did a preliminary draft. This is just to start discussion based on kind of continuing some of the goals from last year and trying to assign people. Obviously, number one, or at least obviously to me, is the demolition ordinance. Um, I don't think we need to talk more about that. Joe and I will continue to persevere. Advocate, so those are under the advocate for preservation of township historic resources. The second one, Jeff, would you like to speak briefly? Dark house. Dark house. I was gonna say good there, but
So there's been some work over the past 30 years on and off on the Dark House. The Dark House is a foundation of a 1600s home that is in 5 Mile Woods. It is currently protected by obscurity, but not protected any other way. It is relatively within 15 feet of a trail, so people can stumble across it. And we believe it is the foundation of one of the founding homes of the original Penn Grant, or by William Dark. And based on the research that was done in the 5 Mile Woods book, as well as some other work we've had, Dawn found in the folder in the township resources. And we're looking at what more can we do to, number one, understand more about it, and number two, what should we be doing to preserve it? Because in the conversation I had with Jeff Marshall a couple of months ago, yes, that's preserved open space right now as a wildlife preserve Audubon place, but there's no guarantee that's going to keep protecting it. And we would like to have it protected somehow beyond that, registered, documented, and maybe even work on a way to get some archaeologists in to actually do some work there and see what we've got to find. It was apparently the house that's on the bluff. The bluff overlooked the cattle farm, and it makes sense based on the streams running through. It makes sense based on it's the Continental Ridge that runs through Bucks County is right on that ridge. So one of the reasons why, since it was built into the stone face, it's relatively exposed. So that's one of the projects we'd like to work on for 2026.
This is coming up because there have been several scout projects in 5 Mile Woods that were, in my estimation, could definitely damage the Dark House. So they had created a visiting observation deck for handicapped accessible, and nobody even asked us, is there anything in there? Is there a reason why these pits are in there? And they were definitely disturbing out buildings that were part of the dark house. And I said something at the time and was told politely to please sit down and don't interfere. So I'm glad that you're doing something about it, because it's the only protection it's had. And it's really deteriorated in the last 10 years, has been from just incredibly wild strands of berries and weeds over it that have prevented people from getting into actually looking at it. So
Yeah, this has been kind of Jeff's passion project for a while, so we're going to let him loose on it. I mean, I think a good first step is both Jim Majewski and Jeff Marshall would like to see it. And I think that's a great first step to also engage them into the process and figure out next steps. But
there was,
this is yours.
yeah, well, Jeff, at one point there was a full chimney support in one of the corners. And that, as far as I can see, has disappeared, but I couldn't get in because there were so many brambles. But,
I'm pretty sure that part has collapsed. I mean, the stones are there, but it's obviously collapsed. Yeah.
oh, that would be great, because that was the obvious part. There is, of course, another house, Derbyshire House, which is in a retention basin right off of Oxford Valley Road. You can identify it by the sycamore tree, but it still has its fireplace identified. It's right there by the kind of big dip in Oxford Valley Road as it goes up the hill. Anyway.
Okay. So Jeff's gonna take that one on.
Cathy,
Neither of those-
could I just suggest a wording change? I mean, it sounds like from the discussion, we know there's a potential need for preservation. Why don't we say research the dark house and 5 Mile Woods and create a plan for preservation?
Okay.
Well, and
Okay.
the other thing is the octagonal schoolhouse. Again, I got a notice from our wonderful inside person in the township building, who told me that it's been resold for 130,000 for a possible billboard.
It's not going to be a billboard. I've talked to the township. It's not going to be a billboard.
Well, they are apparently lawyering up and
Well.
arguing that it's going to be a billboard. So just so that I mention it.
Mm-hmm. All right. So the next one is the continuation one, support the implementation of the Patterson Farm Master Plan. Joe will be in charge of that. And I think we will continue to overlap where we can when we get to the open house and stuff. I'd like to do it with Patterson Farm again. And it sounds like we're going to do Veterans Day with them. So I think the more we can sort of link the groups, the better for both of us. Okay, advocate for preservation of township historic resources. I think I sent this to you, but basically the ordinance or resolution, I get them confused, that creates us is from 1973 and basically says the Historic Commission will do a survey of historic houses and get a report in within 2
There's
years.
an old one.
Huh?
There's an older one from 65.
Well, the active one is from 73 and it's outdated and it does not reflect what we're actually doing. So we would like to see about updating that, and hopefully it'll be in alignment with the demolition ordinance, because if we're going to be making recommendations for that, it should be
Yeah.
in that.
Well, I think they did that in 95. Deborah was chair of the commission at the time. And it was at the time when we were asking for a similar demolition ordinance.
I think that's smart. And I think I haven't followed up on the other supervisors meeting, but the one I went to where it was just up for discussion, like reorganizing of commissions. But what they really were basically talking about at that point, early talking, was just, a lot of these commissions are outdated, or, some of them were specific projects, or some can be combined, or maybe they're, so I think this actually fits in really well with kind of what the supervisors are saying, like, let's revisit what our goals are, who we are, and what we're achieving. I think that's smart.
All right. Curate resources on township history. Again, this is the continuation of Jeff's project, Jeff Marshall's project, because I'm going to say the words wrong. So we already talked about that, getting the grant, and I put some money into the budget for the match because that was an issue last year. So I learned our lesson. around, yeah, that. So we will keep working on that. Curate resources on township history. What I would love to do, and it would need something, somebody to sort of take it on, is Jeff Marshall has dumped or given to Dawn a massive amount of information on our historic homes into our Google Drive. And Dawn's done a great job of making it organized in a way that we can actually find things, which is amazing. And he actually emailed me today that he's got copies he's going to bring to us in the next week or two of all the Bucks County Historic Conservatory things for all the houses in our district. So he finally got that, Joe.
Good.
So we're going to get that, and that'll go in there. But what I would like to do as an ongoing project is, when we were worried about 743 River Road, Joe wrote up a 2-page assessment on why it was historic, hit the top points. And I think over time, I would like to do that for all of our historic houses, particularly the 1s and 2s, because as we're moving forward, if people challenge these buildings, it would be nice to be prepared proactively rather than reactively, which is kind of what tends to happen. I did put a little bit of money in the budget for deed searches. We were taught how to do it, and it's one of those things that you have to do really fast and sign in, sign out, because they charge you per minute. So that's going to be a work in progress, but we have some money for deed searches for future research. I put that in the budget.
Computer searches.
Hmm?
You're talking about computer searches rather than primary materials.
Well, deed searches,
Yeah, but doing it by computer.
but you can do it on the computer. You just need to pay for it.
Can I make a suggestion?
Absolutely.
Maybe we split it up as a commission, and especially if there's an example document that Joe has that, everyone on the commission does 2 a year or whatever it is, something like that. So it's not just falling on any 1 or 2 people, kind of spread this is, because it's hard. Some projects, it's really hard to spread the work, but this seems like we could really easily spread it.
Yeah. I was wondering, Joe, if you would be willing to do a template, take the River Road thing and do a template so that people could kind of go through the drive, and again, it's for next year, and kind of fill in the template. Dawn's also done a really good job of all the historic homes that she's captured that have been sold in the last year. She's downloaded all the pictures that the realtors put up. So we have some documentation there too. You're making a face, Joe.
I mean, I think there's going to be, in order to do that, there needs to be some training in terms of architectural history, right? And styles and what to look at and all of that. I mean, even when I wrote it, I sent it over to Helen and Steve, right? I said, is this right? Could you guys look at this for me? Make sure, so I think that's part of it. But the other part of it, and I think the part of it that's much more doable, what you're saying, Cathy, is to say, what's the historical significance based on the data that we have, right? And that, I think, is a matter simply of sitting down and going through what's there and writing up a significance statement. And that doesn't need to be anything more than 3 paragraphs, right? I think that's definitely doable. And I would think that as far as doing the architectural piece of it, that is something I would tend to do more when we need to have it done.
Okay. I think that's reasonable. And Jeff wrote a 1-pager on a lot of them. It just needs to be put in, I think, a more coherent form.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
Jeff made some mistakes too, and they need to be corrected.
Okay, hon.
Sorry, that's what it is.
When you send us a list of mistakes, we will get them corrected. I have been saying that for months. Educate the township on the history and importance. I threw the time capsule thing in here. I don't know if somebody wants to take that on with a plan or something, but Joe, I'm trying for you.
Where are we planning it?
We need somebody to coordinate the whole project. See, this is the thing. We need people that are going to take leadership on these. So I put, you notice I put this is the person in charge, and these are the people that will work with them.
Well, I seem to be doing the 250 thing, so I think I'll take care of that.
Okay, that would be
Yeah.
awesome.
I think that's a good thing. I think in terms of the burying it, right? I think doing it with 250 as part of a 250 celebration is a great idea. My other thought was that in terms of what goes in there, that's a great way to engage the schools, right? I mean, let's face it, when they dig that up, we're probably not going to be here, but the kids that are in the schools are going to be here, so it might be a good way to say, what do you want to, put in here for people to look at, 50 or 100 years from now?
I think it's a great idea. I mean, I know Monica's tried to get some stuff at the schools and it's been sort of on hold, but I do think that if they come back and engage, that would be good.
Okay.
I'm still working on the other part of that project, and I have to at least tell you that budget-wise, one of the big hurdles for having any kind of event that's going to take place in, looks like the end of November, beginning of December of next year, which is exactly when the militias were gathering in Lower Makefield, and they're gathering at the place that they gathered before. I think it'd be interesting to have a one-night camp out, to have a picture of everyone who's participating, to do the thing with the marching and learning how to do that, and have it open to the public, etc., so that people can actually come see it. The things that are holding me back are porta potties and paying for reenactors. The prices are all over everywhere. But I'm currently working with a group that's actually in Delaware County. So there are two townships away, and are two counties away, and much more likely to come. The people that are around here are all looking for the best invitation for their group. Therefore, they're not committing to anything, which is making me pull my hair out. But anyway, at this point, the people that are in Delaware County are quite happy to commit to it. So, but I need to warn you that could be as high as say $10,000. So whether the supervisors get on board with that or not, we'll have to see.
Well, because we didn't have the money when I had to submit the budget, it's going to have to go in, and I think it should go in through Park and Rec and you.
Yes.
That you can put in a request for it. I
Okay.
let David know that you were working on it with Monica from Park and Rec.
Yep.
That I felt like we needed Park and Rec to support any sort of event of that size, and that there might be a budget request coming.
Then finally, there would be a race. So basically a modern road race to show where they would have marched through Lower Makefield. So
Interesting.
I'm putting that together. I'm very excited about it. I've got a lot of military people who are very interested in it. I'm trying to actually create recreate the Lower Makefield militia under Peter Van Sant, and have people take the roles of those people. What was the other thing I was doing? There can be some collateral sort of instruments and ideas that will come along here, but I think all in all, it's coming together fairly nicely. I'll give it at least another 4 months, and if it's not coming together, then I'll pull it.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, like I said, I let David know that something might be coming. I didn't have any specifics to the budget right now, but the whole thing about
But understand that's where it's going to be. So
Yeah.
it's going to, okay, I just want to.
I mean, who knows what the 2026 Board of Supervisors is going to be like.
Right.
All right. The next two are both educate on township history and the importance of preservation. I was hoping that we could do another open house. Joe, when we were having the conversation the other day, it was actually suggested, and I think this is something to talk about with the Patterson Farm people, that if we did an open house, instead of doing it here, we did it at Patterson Farm collaboratively. I don't know if that could happen or not, but it's just something to throw out there. I
Yeah.
definitely think we should do it collaboratively with Patterson Farm, and it was overall a pretty low effort thing to pull together.
Yeah, we should. I mean, right now, we've been working with the township to get the farm to a place where we can have the public and environmental issues and things like that that needed to be cleared up, but they're making progress, so we can view that next year and say, is that an opportunity to do that, or do we just have it some other place? But yeah, but I think
Yeah, I mean, we can certainly have it in the township building again. It's just something to throw out there.
Exciting.
Right.
More exciting to actually have public,
I also think it would help promote Patterson Farm
Right.
stuff too, and I
agree.
really want to support them. I also, after going to Harvest Day, I was thinking that it would behoove us if we were willing to have a table at Harvest Day. Again, we need somebody to kind of coordinate that. We are having a table at Veterans Day, Park and Rec reached out to me and Joe and Jeff agreed to do it. So I am getting a few things printed for them to be able to give away and to kind of promote our work.
do you want the octagonal schoolhouse structure, the little model I have?
You can ask Joe and Jeff because I'm going to let them kind of coordinate it further other than I am printing materials for them.
It attracts people.
Yeah.
I might bring up that I just got word from Patterson Farm Preservation Group that Mr. Kravitz has agreed that they could again put candles in the windows of the Satterthwaite House this Christmas.
Hmm.
So they'll be looking for donations of $20 for windows. Just saying.
Cool. Ghost tour, did you want to say something, Joe?
No, I'll talk that one offline about it.
All right. Ghost tour, we're going to continue. I mean, I'm thinking probably a 250 theme, but that's Monica can figure all that out.
I have something to discuss with you on that.
There was a couple of other things on Slate Hill as potential. And again, these are all potential. We need people attached to these things because Cathy can't do everything. We're Monica. So we've talked about adding markers to the unknown burials, adding an interpretive sign. We've been kind of holding on that. We'll show what we have. I think we need a little bit more information and a little more confirmation on some names before we do a sign. So that might be a 2027.
Okay.
And then adding a path on the Quaker side. I was going to announce this in the Slate Hill thing, but after, oh my goodness, so much work. We have an Eagle Scout who's going to do a path on the segregated side, probably the first week in November. And it's a really good plan because he's got a landscaper doing all the heavy labor. And I think the Eagle Scouts just throw down the rocks. So it's like an official thing. And Jim Majewski is going to be there to supervise because they were worried about the path going over dead bodies in a cemetery.
I don't think there's any.
Which it does.
We are saying it does
It does
not.
not.
because
Just kidding. It does not.
We have mapped it out around the red things.
Sure.
So that is the
Amazing.
statement
Love it.
you're going with. And to the best of our ability, no, we're not going over that. Continuing, blah, 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 the social media stuff. I've been doing the Facebook. I can keep doing that. I know Monica does some stuff on the Instagram when she has a moment.
I've been doing a biweekly running account for the Committee of Safety of what was happening at this time in 1775. And I'll be continuing that until
Good.
the crossing in 1776. So every 2 weeks or so, I say, okay, like the one I wrote this week, I haven't posted yet, but it's the fact that the British burned Portsmouth this week in
Okay.
1775.
Awesome.
I would suggest we just add in another round of QR codes getting placed. Just have them.
Wait, I'm sorry.
And the goals,
Uh-huh.
put in another round of QR codes.
Oh yeah, that's next.
But I'm sorry. There's more pages. Just kidding.
There's more pages. Yes, we're going to continue another round of QR codes. The plan continues to be that after the ghost tour, when Cathy gets around to it, I put it together and then get it to Tom and we get it up. So at minimum, the goal is to have it by ghost tour, the QR codes for the next year. So I will
Yeah, sorry.
that. We put some budget in for that. And then America 250, we already talked about.
Going forward from that, the ultimate goal is to also have QR codes for our historic houses.
That'd be cool.
That
Love
would
it.
be really, but that's 28, 27, 28, okay.
Yeah, let's keep that for another year because people have to agree to that.
Well, if they take it, exactly, if they wish to have one on their house.
Mm-hmm. And then I just kept the professional development thing here. I mean, I know I'm beating a dead horse, but we are required as a CLG to each have 2 hours of training a year. I am really pushing this because let's just say sometimes we've been treated as less than professional. So I just want to kind of keep reiterating to them that we are doing our duties, we are getting trained, and we are moving along. So also there is a training budget. And if you go to stuff like Shirley stuff at Gather Place, any of that stuff, just send me a text, give me like hours, and that can count. All right.
Yeah.
Does anybody have some other ideas of things that I didn't include? I kind of just focused on, I think you had something, Joe, about Edgewood.
Right. I think, we took on Slate Hill as a commission because it's on the National Register and it was really in bad shape, and the work that the commission's done and, Cathy and Monica and all of your efforts has been wonderful. I mean, if you walk through there now, it's night and day. But the other place that's on the National Register is Edgewood Village, which is also in really bad shape. I mean, it wouldn't get on there today, So I do know that there has been some discussion by the board to start to rethink this. And I think they're looking at it also from an economic development, commercial perspective and housing perspective, right? Which they should. But we should definitely be involved in that and looking at a historic perspective. And even if they don't go forward with it, I think we should have some type of a plan that kind of reimagines Edgewood Village. So I don't necessarily know how to do it. One of the ideas could be to get a planning grant in order to do that. We could do that through Keystone. However, the township can only submit one grant to Keystone, and there's going to be between, all the stuff that's going on at Patterson Farm, there's going to be a lot of competition for that. So I don't know how viable that is. But anyway, I didn't know if anybody else had any ideas around how we might get started in terms of kind of rethinking, Edgewood Village from, and bringing it back, bringing the historic significance out there a lot clearer.
One
And-
second, Helen, I just want to ask one question, clarify question from Joe. Like, is there any of us bumping on Harb if we start to take a more active role in
No.
Edgewood?
No, definitely
Okay.
not. Harb is there just to
Tell
look
her.
at changes to buildings, right?
All right, I was going to make a comment about Harb because they have been discussing over the last 2 years, getting some kind of a planning grant to get those huge, ugly signal devices at Edgewood and Yardley Langhorne Road replaced with historic lights so that it would reinforce the idea that this is a historic village. An example would be, in the Glenside area, I can't think of the name of the little town where the theater is, but they have done lighting and traffic lights are on cables, and it's much more acceptable to historic structures. When these were put in, it was like 10 years ago now, they were put in a very unfeeling way. Certainly were never approved by the Harb and never got any kind of design approval. They were just done by PennDOT. And we, at some point, historic village can overrule PennDOT and have them put in appropriate signals. So I know Harb has been discussing that.
I will check with Jennifer then. I have that on my to-do list. I do know that I had a coffee with the former chair of Harb, who said, "Hey, Joe, I think this is a better project for the Historical Commission than Harb, but I'll talk to Jennifer and make sure that we're not going to conflict."
One update I can share about Edgewood Village that Jim Machewski shared with me. The Ishmael Taylor House will be, the developer's going to rebuild it. He's going to preserve as much as he can. It will become apartments. and the house next door to it, it will be demolished and rebuilt in a historic style to match Di Lorenzo's pizza.
Yeah,
That's not a historic style, yeah.
yeah,
But
I mean,
that's part of the debate.
we're aware of that. That's sort of a done deal. They said that they
The
saved.
house was
Ishmael
not to be
House.
touched, yeah. The
But-
Ishmael house was not to be touched.
Um,
That last discussion, they could not change the windows. Yes, it could be apartments above, but everything has to stay exactly the way it is, which would be fine.
and I don't know. I mean, it just continues to deteriorate. I did
Yeah, that's
reach
the other
out to
question. When?
I did-
Right.
I did reach out to a board of supervisors member who said that they are aware of it and this person was actively working on it and there was some complication political, I think with Yardley Borough or something, and I don't know why they would be involved, but you know, given the lack of support from the board of supervisors on everything else this year.
Yes, no, basically it's failure to implement our ordinances. And I think we discussed that before.
Mhm.
And that we have a section of our ordinance which is against demolition by neglect. And it can be applied daily. The penalty if someone in power, in other words, someone on the board of supervisors decided that they want to implement that, and it could end up in a big lawsuit. So we really probably shouldn't be talking about it, but you know, that's one of those things that either we obey our own laws or why do we have them?
Yeah. If you want to articulate something for Edgewood Village, even in general terms, Joe.
How about QR codes there?
I
At least
mean,
offered to people who own properties. And I mean, there's nothing there anymore that is owned by the township. So everything with the property owner would have to agree. We at one point put plaques on, little wooden plaques on all the existing buildings. Most people complied with it. So why not do it again?
yeah, I mean, I'm not as supportive of QR codes. It's, I don't know. I mean, it seems
Well, it
kind of like we're pointing out like what,
Well, the other thing we could do would be markers at the entryway, maybe look for an Eagle Scout project to do something like that, where we have, you know, very visible that you are entering Edgewood Village, the historic district of Lower Makefield Township, you know, something like that.
We could develop a walking tour of Edgewood
We could
Village.
certainly do that. Except when we don't have any sidewalks, but when they get the sidewalks in, I guess we can do that safely.
so with this list, do people have things that they feel strong, like, unfortunately, Tom and Dave aren't here. I mean, I guess we could just put their names on stuff. Tom told me he's willing to do anything but fundraise. So, and I know Dave did support the open house last year.
Yeah, put Dave on the open house. I'll take Harvest Day. I'd love to do that. And I get to work with Victor then. Haha, Victor, you can't get rid of me.
Except he's leaving.
Nah,
He said he would still help.
it just means he won't have to be here every month.
I'll be at Harvest Day anyway.
Yeah, he's there. He sold me my T-shirt.
Yeah, give Dave the open house. He was
Okay,
there.
we'll give Dave the open house and we'll give Monica Harvest Day.
And Helen's taking the time capsule. Is that what you
Helen's taking the time
Yeah, I can
capsule.
help both of you for that too. I'll be the assistant for
Yeah.
this day.
And then I mean, I know someone has to lead it, but I really think we all should work on those documents. It's too big of a job to ask someone, sorry, I'm just going up the list. The historic research survey reports. And if there is a template that we can kind of follow, obviously it's going to take a good amount of time, but we just like have a requirement, like everyone has to do one or two or whatever. Like someone has to obviously police that.
Well, that's a problem. And that's where, you know, we're going to have some discussion. Because sooner or later, it's going to be challenged by somebody. I read one of the QR codes today that has within 2 sentences information that's one of them has to be wrong. It says somebody was born in New Jersey, and then the 2 sentences later, it says he was born in LMT. So one of them is wrong.
History is
Um,
always moving. We're doing.
Somebody has to be in charge of oversight and say yes or no.
I tend to think that while I love the enthusiasm of having everyone volunteer to do it, I don't think we're going to get the quality and consistency that's need to hold up to preserve a home if we actually have to fight it. So I think we need to figure out a way to do it formally with verified sources and data, et cetera, all referenced, because, great stories from the township that someone happens to recall aren't necessarily going to prove anything. We need to actually have documented the same way for each one in a way that
Everybody.
No, I.
well, again, let me just finish real quick. Is that we're here now. When this comes up and it needs to be enforced, we need to be the people on the commission. They need to have that work done the right way. So when they're there, they don't know the things we knew. They can look to it, read it, and go, everything we have is here to prove the case, and it has to be done the right way. There's too much inconsistency even amongst people. We have to have it done the right way by a professional who does the research, documents it the right way, because otherwise it's not going to hold up when it needs to hold up.
Well, there's, like I said, a fair amount of research that is done. That's why I had Jeff do the research and
Jeff's a good enough expert in my mind. to
he's
do that.
citing the sources, but he's not going to write this all up for him. We can't afford to have him write this up.
So I don't know. I haven't seen it, so it's all conjecture, but he's done the research. We have access, like if we know exactly what's supposed to be in here and it's just like going through that information and putting that in a concise thing, I think most of us are capable of doing that. And not just, I heard this story. It's based on the research from Jeff and the deed searches that we are supposed to do, whatever. I don't really know what we're doing, but it's a 2-page document that's just making sense of this ton of research. So
Good news is we could simply, if we do have that type of data from Jeff Marshall and we have a template from Joe, I could get an AI algorithm to do the whole thing for us.
yeah,
in
that's
like
true.
2 days.
Some of the stuff Jeff did was incorrect, and that's, if somebody.
You haven't even seen what he's done, the new stuff.
Yeah.
So let's,
Well, for instance, my son has a house,
But I
and
wanna hear
Jeff
that.
said that, he
All right,
found.
so
an
we got your
article-
son's house wrong. We got it,
Well,
but
he found an article that showed that we had mistakenly said that the mansard was put on recently, and actually it was put on, according to Jeff's article, by this builder in 1880. Well, Jeff wrote the entire thing on that house stating, that this thing was done in 1880. When we took apart the house, when Tristram bought it and Sandy bought it, there was no mansard on the 3rd story. There was no.
okay. So I don't want to digress into all of your grievances with Jeff again. I want to get
The
the goals
point
done
is-
so we can get to the rest of the meeting.
Is that was a mistake on the part. He assumed that something that was written in the newspaper actually was done
Mhm.
when it wasn't done.
we're
Well,
not
all
going to
of
be
the
able to
history
take
we're
apart
doing
all of
based-
these houses and determine that that's correct. Or that's just not feasible to take apart a house. I mean, sure, yes, once in a while, something will go wrong. If you're right
Something will go
80 to
wrong.
90% of the time,
And Jeff
that's really,
has always said that.
you know.
No, and Jeff has always said that. And when I sent him the article, he said, you're correct. So I'm just saying, Jeff is one of the people who will admit that when there's a problem, he'll fix it.
All right. So
So
Jeff,
Cathy, maybe if I can,
Jeff B offered to review what was in there and take a look at it and see if we can establish a plan moving forward.
Love it.
All right.
Mhm.
So we're not saying who's going to do what. He's going to see what's there and what
That's it,
needs to
yeah.
be done and do a more thorough assessment.
Thank you, Jeff. That's awesome.
So I think that is a good starting place.
I think you said
Even if we're just sorting out the stuff by like pictures, architectural stuff, whatever. And I hear what you're saying, Joe, about we can add the architectural stuff as the houses come forward. I think that's reasonable unless Jess wrote anything on that.
He usually doesn't.
I think, Jeff, what I will do is, I think one of the things to look at, because like, what's the end point you're trying to get to, right? And not that I want to sound like probably looking at what the state requires for a determination of eligibility. I'm not saying that we should file a determination of eligibility for all these houses. That's way beyond our scope, right? But I'll send you some articles so you could understand what they would look at to make a decision. And then the question would be, is that the information that we have on these houses? Because if that's the case, we do have that, then it really is a matter of just writing it up, right? I guess I'm hesitating a little bit because I don't think that it's just a matter of writing it up. I think there's either more research that needs to be done or
Yeah,
there's more.
there's some inconsistencies that need to be addressed, and they can be addressed.
Right.
I would prefer that you read what is in there before you talk about inconsistencies, but I think
okay,
that that's a reasonable plan.
What does?
And I also think that the Bucks County things are going to cover a lot of houses for us.
What Bucks County things?
The Bucks County historic, the ones that are on the Bucks County list. That,
By the people at Bucks County Conservancy?
yes.
No, but that's my opinion.
All right.
So Kathy, I guess what I'm going to be looking to do, and this is also for Joe, is I'll see what we have.
Jeff?
What we have is a common data points across all of them, so we know what we're working with and where we need to fill in the gaps to meet the standards. So that's
Okay.
what I'll try and focus on.
Yes, I think that that's a great plan. I mean, I don't think this is a
think you're-
one-year project. He's going to do an assessment of the data we have and see what is missing. And then we can make a plan to get anything that's missing. Right? Did I say that? Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, I think we have most of the stuff covered except for some of the stuff at Slate Hill, and I think those are probably still kind of in the under consideration. Or would Monica, do you have any thoughts on any of the Stone's interpretive stuff?
Well, yeah, I think we're right. Hold on the interpretive sign and let's aim for the markers this year if we can fund it. But
Okay. So we'll continue to work on the markers, and maybe that will be Tom's assignment since he already started trying to make them and stuff.
Yeah.
And then we can kind of do an assessment. I know we talked about doing the segregated side first. And then I think I concur that the interpretive sign, we need a little bit more information.
yeah, especially based on the documents.
Yeah.
We found last night.
Do you know from the records what side of the boundary line that the sharp stone is? Is it on the edge of the, I was reading that somebody had written it was on the edge of the original Quaker side. So is it outside the line of the Quaker side?
I don't know. I've never known of or I'm not aware of the original third, the original thing. Yeah, I don't know
Oh,
if
well,
we
I
have that
the
information.
original. I have the original. Did you explain? We have found the
Yeah,
original.
but is that line in there? Because that's the whole
Yeah,
Quaker section, that map, right? It's
Yes,
not the
yes.
first third.
yes, no, it's the first section. The second one was in 1721.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I'm saying. If he was buried in 1898 and it's outside the walls of the first graveyard, that could be a reason why it's stone.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's,
Mhm.
that could be explained that way.
Yeah, that's
But
very
if it's
cool.
inside the walls, then we have,
Right. Yeah.
so I would like to know where
cool.
that original grant from Janney actually.
Well, you're welcome to come to the township. It's in the safe. in
Is the,
back.
yeah, so the map.
So did you explain that that we got these?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, let's move into, I think we're done with this. We talked about the grant for historic resource survey. Joe will follow up with Megan on that.
Mhm.
So let's move to existing business updates. We have a lot on Slate Hill, lots of updates. So the GPNR project,
That was a nice spin.
Oh, yes, that one.
this is gonna go on camera, but we have the official map. This is actually a nicely laminated one. You see all of the reds are currently unidentified hits. The veterans are in gray, and in blue are people that we reasonably believe are in those locations or close by. That's based on like our 1926 map and our other earlier maps.
And wills that
Mhm.
said that they were buried in Slate Hill.
It's still a work in progress, but there's also an interactive map. I think I sent that all to you on Argus, and you can actually click in, you can click by name, you can see the tombstone.
It's cool.
Very cool.
So that's done, and then kind of our goal, and I'll probably put that on there for myself for 2026 is Monica actually just discovered some stuff we had buried, some St. Andrew's records that have people that are buried in Slate Hill that we did not previously know about. So we're going to try to identify some more people, put them on the map, update the map, and then do the interpretive sign,
Yes.
which
Yeah.
will still immediately be outdated.
Mhm, mhm.
All right.
I'm not sure how to write that.
GPNR project is complete,
It is.
and we have a beautiful map.
As complete as
Map
history can be.
Grade is.
Yeah.
A beautiful map will show off at the ghost store.
Yeah.
Good, okay, and then, good, great.
Headstone.
Headstone project is pretty much complete. As far as the work, it was pretty straightforward. We didn't have, I was hoping they'd uncover a stone or something, none of that, but they did pull up a couple that had dropped that we knew about, and one specifically, Ann Stewart, we have new information on, so that's cool. And yeah, they fixed everything. It looks beautiful. There's everything that was broken, fallen, severely tilted, at risk of breaking was righted. There's still Hills was lifted up and straightened. So no more information. I was hoping more of information was down
Yeah,
there.
but
There
I
wasn't.
knew it wouldn't be.
But there's a few that are still kind of crooked, but just because that
That's fine.
happens, we don't need it to be perfect, but they're not at risk of being damaged.
Are
from
any
there.
illegible that we need to apply for another stone?
No.
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
Mm-mm.
everybody's legible and their units are legible. That's what the veterans wanted to.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think
Okay.
there's any veterans that we don't.
So
would-
when we see
Oh,
that we can't read it anymore, that's when you apply. That's what happened with Subers.
Got it,
Mhm.
got it. So we're just in the final stages of submitting all the grant stuff that I need to keep doing, but
Cool.
done and done.
Ghost tour.
Ghost tour is next weekend and I need help. We're in a good place, but volunteers for the night of kind of are dropping like flies. So, but I'm doing okay and I'll harass enough people this week. But honestly, well, we'll wait to see. I was hoping Dave would be here, so I've texted him. I'm counting on Dave to be at the front of the house. You are doing concessions. So my husband will be there. I'm just trying not to give him 3 people's jobs with lighting and fire.
It's wonderful.
My wife Lynn's going to help with the concessions.
Mhm.
My wife's going to help with the concessions, so I'm happy to do the fire, do the.
Cool.
reclamation
And I was
stuff.
also gonna
So,
harass Jessa if Dan could be better used as her husband or to help running around doing things.
I also might have
Dan doesn't get to speak for himself in our
He's
relationship.
happy to do either one, as long as he doesn't have to talk.
So anyways, I think we're doing okay. Just don't leave. I don't want to hear from anyone else that they're not doing it. I got like 3 today. I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. But we're fine. But it's in a really good place. Victor set up a really cool lighting map because of course losing the trees is harder to light, but he's got a really good plan set up. We have 8 confirmed stories, 3 on the segregated side, and 5, sorry, math, 5 on the Quaker side. A really good mix of really interesting stories. I still don't have a fiddler, but I think I will. I don't have a photographer, and I'm hoping we can actually have someone with a good eye. Anyone can walk around and take pictures, but so if anyone knows of anyone that's interested, and I don't need them for the whole time, I think like dusk to dark, like 2 hours is plenty of time for photography. So again, I've got plenty feelers out, but if you guys think of anyone.
Hit up Jessa for that.
Hmm?
Jess is doing a lot with wedding.
I actually emailed her. I haven't looked to see if she responded, but I did bug her about it. We're sold out. Should have started with that. And I've been living in the Twilight Zone, so I'm very confused on times. But today I saw something that said last year we did 5 to 9. So we did add an hour.
We did add an hour, yes.
Like you've told me that 10 times. Anyway, so we've added an hour, 4 to 9 or 4 to 8:40. the police just confirmed today that they'll be helping manage crossings. VFW confirmed. We got a porta potty. So we're in really good shape. Now we're just in the final tweaks and the fun of figuring out everyone's costumes and everything. But yeah, we're
And Monica and I managed to get a fair amount of sponsors, maybe not Jim's level, because when I went to the chiropractor, she's like, "Oh, I've known Jim for 30 years."
Yes, we did. Yeah, we've done a really good job on sponsors. And this is the first year we did individual sponsorships, which basically people could buy tickets early at a higher price. And it was a good kind of test. It's basically just Cathy's neighbors. But we didn't advertise it really. We didn't have it set up to,
That's interesting.
but now we've got a system set up. So I think next year we can do pre-sale for a higher price if we want to do it. What I'm really interested in that I'm realizing is, I got a bunch of yard signs made and we didn't use a lot of them because I knew we would sell out and I didn't want to advertise that widely because I wanted the tickets to be for our local community. And I thought that was actually a really lovely realization that obviously anyone's welcome, but I didn't want to shout it to everyone that out there because our community is really excited and into it. So, that's it. Any
Yeah,
questions?
Katie at the township told me that multiple people have come in even before we were advertising, asking about it, and are very excited. And if I'm doing the math right on 20 times 15, it's definitely over 300
Yeah.
people again. So we're
Mhm.
going to meter match that. So
Yeah, exactly.
awesome.
Yeah, we're in good shape.
It's going to be very exciting.
That's it.
Um,
Gardening project. We did not get the grant. But like most first-time grant applications, Clara learned a ton, got a lot of direction for next year. So we'll try it again next year. I think we're in a good place for it. So I'm feeling good about that.
Which grant?
We applied for a grant at the
Bowman's?
Bowman's Wildlife Center
Oh,
for
yep.
for
I remember
native plants in the cemetery.
And then the path project I updated on, yeah, so unfortunately not before the ghost tour, but that's okay. We're getting it done. Helen did her update on 250. I think, do we have anything to add, Joe, on the resource survey demolition ordinance? I think we've kind of covered all of that. We miss anything?
No, no.
Okay. Yeah, essentially we're waiting for 2026, I think. And we continue to work behind the scenes as much as possible. Dawn, did you have a quick update on Township-Owned?
Yes, just a quick update. So we've completed scanning all of Ralph's deed books that were in the binders. We have them digitized and we do have them on Google Drive in the historic properties folder. That historic properties folder is where we're also putting Jeff Marshall's information. So each folder will have a very complete set of information if you need to refer to it. We have a new volunteer, Jack Erickson.
There it is.
There's the last
Good.
name, Victor.
Okay, I went to high school with him.
Yeah, that's what we told you.
He's
I was
very
wondering
sad
which
to hear
Jack
you're
though, because
leaving.
I know a lot of Jacks, so.
He's in the middle, well, he's in the reserve, so he does have to spend time on that. So he can't join the commission at this point in his life because he's also planning to go to grad school. But he is helping us. And right now, we are at the point where the three of us are working on, and we have 1.5 drawers completed of the 4 drawers, putting individual numbers to actually prep to enter these into Past Perfect. Each item needs its own individual number, and that's what we're doing. I suspect we'll probably be done at the end of November, and then we'll be moving into actual scanning. We can't enter anything into Past Perfect. In January, we will find out if we won the grant. And if we win the grant, we actually can't purchase the upgrades to Past Perfect to get started until we get the money, and that would be in May. So we are we're going to have a period where we're kind of on hold. And so in the meantime, if you guys are working on any specific historic research and you need me to scan individual folders, let me know what you're working on and I will shift my efforts to do that.
I'd love to help me with the members of the militia.
Okay,
I'll send you the list.
great. Actually, I've done some research on them myself.
Figured you already had.
Yeah,
But I want to see where they live in the township, or if they're appearing in Falls Township, Upper Makefield, one of the adjoining townships and just joined with their.
yeah, I
with
would
their
love to
friends,
help
which
you
a
with
lot
that.
could happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also just wanted to add that we recently visited, a group of us, the Wright Farm, and they will be demolishing things in the spring. Jeff had a keen eye because we were looking for something for our future museum, and he found a Breezy Vale sign, a regular farm sign that is in a decent size, and it doesn't take up a lot of room. And that is in my garage right now. It
Doesn't have something from historic in their garage right now.
I have this the octagonal schoolhouse I have to drive around.
So, and Jeff tried to metal detect on there. The ground wasn't ready yet for us at that time, but we're hoping to work
Wait
with
till it rains.
well, we're
So,
hoping,
yeah, so basically, we spoke with Matt from DeLuca, who was sent with us, and luckily, he's the son of a history teacher and
Yeah.
also has a degree in history and was very interested in what we were doing. He's going to reach out and let us know when the harvest is done. The pumpkins had to be harvested and the corn had to be harvested. And when the crops are all down, we'll see if we can't get a local Bucks County historic metal detecting group to come in on a Saturday and do the whole farm with DeLuca's permission. See
Okay.
what we can find out there in the plowed fields.
that would be great. I'm sure it's something that they'd be excited to do.
But there wasn't much. We did get the chance, thanks to Dawn's effort, to get in and review the farm and walk the property. And I found a couple of old tools that are probably from I found a nice old wooden pulley that's probably 1800s that we can save for the future museum, and some tools that are probably from the 1920s that were on the bottom of the pile in the garage, but there wasn't much else. I think, Joe, we didn't find anything else. I think that fireplace may have an interesting mantle for salvage, but there wasn't much. I mean, if you want some really old spoiled canned goods, they're canned by the family in the basement. They're definitely preserved in some fashion.
And I know Joe was considering getting us in another time to do some measurements of the historic portion of the building.
Right, that is the one thing that it's useful to have, especially for the historic portion, is the measurement of the rooms. Because if we're comparing it to other, we want to ever compare other buildings in the township to it, it's nice to have pictures, but it's good to have measurements. So that would be one thing we could look at doing. I think when we did
Nice
the
to
one
film it.
over at Prickett,
Yeah.
Tom took the lead. Tom and Dave and I were there and got all that done.
Definitely thank you, Dawn, for coordinating that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Dawn is doing just simply amazing work. Considering my name is next to it and Mitch's. Just so we know that should we not get the grant, I did put the money in the budget to pay for all the past perfect stuff. So we could have a little extra money or not, but
So the good news is if we lose the grant, we can actually get started on Past Perfect early.
right, but we can't preserve that 1858 map. So it's sort of like
Right.
one or the other,
Yeah.
But we'll see. We got that in there, and then we got a few of the DVDs that, I forgot to talk about the deed rescue. Yes, you mentioned that, Helen, and I lost it in Slate Hill. So after I had totally given up and decided that the township had lost our original 1690 deed and the 1728 deed to we only have two. Anyway, the two original deeds, I was, out and about one day and I get a call to my business phone saying, hey, I forget her name now. Hey, this is Kelly. I'm moving. I have the deeds in my attic. Can you come get them today?
Because I'm moving in 2 days.
Because I'm moving in 2 days. So anyway, it was amazing and I almost started crying and I was so excited and I raced over and she's a lovely woman and we have the deeds and they're secure in the locked room back there until we can get a place where they can hang safely. and be protected.
I-
Go ahead.
In addition, she gave us a box of additional materials and, it's always fun to come in here and have a little package to open that somebody donated and it's a little Christmas present, but there was a document in there about the Joshua Anderson house. And in 1979, a Colonial Women's Group put a plaque on the house. Well, what Kelly had was a handwritten note from that group of what they saw documenting some of the architectural features in the house, including a note that says that there is a slave tunnel crawl space in the basement going to the canal. So we would like to somehow get in that house and take Jeff Marshall with us, which he has agreed to do, and get confirmation that it actually exists. It's a timbered slave tunnel crawl space, supposedly.
We also got some videotapes, and a few of them Dave got digitized for us, and I really thought I had put the one on Octagonal House on the list, and somehow it wasn't. So I apologize that for Helen. I was like, no, we're going to get the one for Helen on Octagonal House. But anyway, the ones that are digitized, Dawn also has on the drive, and I believe she sent an email out to all of us with the links. I know the quality isn't like super awesome,
Yeah.
professionally done, but in the 90s. So I to be honest, I haven't even listened to them. But we got 4 down and 700 to go. All right. Anything else, Dawn?
No, that's it.
Grant for Historic Research Survey, we did that. Public comment, no public other than Dawn. Next meeting, November 12th at 7:30 p.m. And is there a motion to adjourn? And look at that, we still got done before 9. Helen moves to adjourn. Do I have a second? Monica seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're out. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.